Welcome to BIBLEY, B-I-B-L-E-Y, BIBLEY.
Hey, how you doing there, Diddley?
I'm doing great, Cricket. What are we going to talk about today?
We're going to talk about being a missionary.
A missionary? What is a missionary?
Well, it's a person on a mission.
Okay, are you on a mission?
Yeah, I'm on a mission to look handsome.
No, that's not quite the mission that we're talking about. When you're a missionary, you're on mission for Jesus.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm on mission for Jesus.
You are? Okay. Are you going to talk about something tonight, like being a missionary?
I'm going to talk about one of the original missionaries.
Oh, okay. And who would that be?
His name is Paul.
Oh, Paul. Okay. Paul from the Bible. I see. And is Paul one of your favorite people from the Bible?
And how?
Oh, your voice got a little high there. Okay, so where out of the Bible are we going to be talking about?
Well, I think it's in chapters, mainly 27 of the book of Acts.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right, and so what are we going to be talking about?
Paul, he's a missionary.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, did you know that Paul went to the temple and there was a big fight started?
Oh, a fight? Paul got into a fight?
No. It was the people around him that were fighting.
Why were they fighting?
Well, Paul was preaching the truth and they didn't like it. So, they got really mad at Paul.
What happened?
Well, they were going to kill Paul.
Yikes! Kill him? A whole crowd? Why didn't they kill him?
Well, somebody intervened. Okay, and it was the Romans. At that time, the Romans were in charge. They ruled practically the whole world. And whenever there was a ruckus, they came and they wanted to see what was going on. And you know what? Paul was in the middle of it, and they took him into custody. And they charged him.
Well, what was he doing? He was just preaching the word.
He was. But, he started a ruckus, and he didn't commit no crime or anything. And did you know that Paul was a Roman citizen?
Oh, okay. Well, that was kind of prestigious, wasn't it?
Yeah, if you were a Roman citizen, you were highly revered. Some people even had to pay to get their citizenship into Rome. Well, anyway, a Roman commander and his soldiers, they saved Paul, but they took him into custody. And so we are going to look into this story about Paul's mission. He was on a mission from God to go to the actual Rome and preach. But to get there, it's quite a story. So we're going to go into Superbook. We're going to show a little bit of Superbook, and we're going to see how Paul did it. And of course, there's Superbook's really good animation about the Bible.
In hell.
This is the man who preaches against our people everywhere.
He tells everybody to disobey the Jewish laws.
He speaks against the temple.
He defiles this holy place by bringing in Gentiles.
Yes, I saw him earlier with a Gentile from Ephesus.
Halt! In Jesus' name! Who are you?
I am Paul of Tarsus, and a Roman citizen.
He brought an unbeliever into the temple. It is forbidden.
Stand back, all of you. Paul of Tarsus, since you seem to have started all this, I am placing you under arrest for causing a disturbance.
You're coming with us.
Well, hey, boys and girls. It looks like Paul's in big trouble, and the Romans have taken him away.
I am taking you to meet a man who faced obstacles that seemed impossible, yet he never lost sight of his mission.
Prisoners, halt! Captain, preparing to board the prisoners for Rome.
Bring them aboard.
You heard the captain. Move it along. You'll get another taste of my ware.
There is no need to strike them.
Halt! What are you doing there? Down to the hold with the rest of the prisoners. I'll teach you to try to escape. Free prisoners escape!
That's better.
Stop, prisoners!
It seems there is a flaw in this plan.
Gotcha.
Hey kids, I'm reading from the Adventure Bible, and it's a really good Bible, and we're in Acts 27, and it says, "It was decided that we would sail from Italy. Paul and some prisoners were handed over to the Roman commander named Julius. He belonged to the imperial guard. We boarded a ship. It was about to sail for ports along the coast of Asia Minor. We headed out to sea. Aristarchus was with us. He was a Macedonian from Thessalonica. Next day, we landed at Sidon. There, Julius was kind to Paul." So even a Roman could exhibit kindness, and this particular Roman would help Paul in many ways along his journey.
I think these leg irons are giving me a rash.
Your friend is very unusual.
Oh yeah, he's definitely one of a kind. You okay, Joy?
Oh, Peachy. I went from mosquitoes and mud to chains and a prison ship. My life just keeps getting better.
Joy, during the time I spent in prison, I realized God's power is strongest when I'm weak. So, if he keeps giving me his power, I will gladly brag about how weak I am. Yes, I am glad to be weak or insulted or mistreated or to have troubles and sufferings, if it is for Christ. Because when I am weak, I am strong.
Hey, did you hear, Paul? When he is weak, he is strong. I know that's kind of hard to understand, But what he's saying is it's all for Jesus. It's all for Christ. When you're on mission, it's not about yourself. It's all about Jesus and getting the word out and maybe even suffering. Paul was he was a prisoner at this particular time, and we're going to see him go and help some people, and we know he makes it to Rome.
Before Caesar.
You sound almost happy about that.
Stand trial for what?
Well, causing a disturbance. It was in Jerusalem. I was preaching about Jesus to whomever would listen. I was accused of bringing a non-believer into the temple. It wasn't true. They demanded the Romans put me to death. But of course, they could never prove their charges. Several nights later, Jesus appeared to me in my cell.
Be of good cheer, Paul. For as you have testified for me in Jerusalem, so you must also bear witness at Rome.
Since then, my case has been heard before 2 Roman governors and King Herod Agrippa. Finally, as a Roman citizen, I had a right to be tried by Caesar himself. And so here I am, on my way to Rome. Captain, would it be possible to loosen our shackles just while we are at sea?
Captain Julius, you cannot allow this filthy bunch of slaves to...
Unshackle all of them. There is nowhere they can escape.
I'll be keeping an eye on you, friend.
Men, I believe there is trouble ahead if we go on. Shipwreck, loss of cargo, and danger to our lives as well.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Captain, we must continue on. There are not suitable harbors here. It is a poor place to spend the winter. The crew knows these waters. We should continue further up the coast to Phoenix. I beg you to reconsider. I must get to Rome safely.
You have no cause for concern. The ship's captain believes his crew knows what they are doing.
What does a prisoner from Jerusalem know about the open sea?
There isn't a storm we can't sail through.
Well, what those crewmen don't have is God. God gave Paul a mission, and God can give all of us a mission to share the good news about Jesus Christ.
According to the current barometric pressure, cumulonimbus formation, and wind velocity, there's a 57% chance of... swells.
Get this ship on deck!
Thank you. Pray to your God for us.
In Acts 27, verse 14, it says, "Before long a wind blew down from the island. It had the force of a hurricane. It was called the Northeastern. The ship was caught by the storm. We could not keep it sailing into the wind, so they gave up and were driven along by the wind. We passed the calmer side of the small island called Cauda. We almost lost the lifeboat, which you just saw in the animation, that was tied to the side of the ship. So the men lifted the lifeboat on board. Then they tied the ropes under the ship itself to hold it together. That must have been really one big storm.
Do not be afraid, Paul. You must be brought before Caesar. What's more, God in his goodness has granted safety to everyone sailing with you.
We must lighten our load, men. All excess cargo overboard.
Okay, but don't blame me if we need it later. No.
Men, you should have listened to me in the first place and not left Crete. You would have avoided all this damage and loss. But take courage. None of you will lose your lives, even though the ship will go down. For last night an angel of God to whom I belong and whom I serve stood beside me and said, God in his goodness has granted safety to everyone sailing with you. So take courage, for I believe God. It will be just as he said, but we will be shipwrecked on an island.
Paul's example is about trusting in the power of God. Reading this exciting story about a storm and shipwreck in Acts, all the men on the ship were afraid they would drown, but Paul trusted God. He stayed calm even when everyone else was afraid. He told the men to be brave and to obey God. Then no one would die. Because the men did what Paul said, no one died.
Jesus said, if you had faith even as small as a mustard seed, you could say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it would move. Nothing would be impossible.
Faith, huh? Well, as a soldier, I've always relied on a sharp sword to move my mountains.
Shallow water!
Shallow water. That's good, right?
Good? That is excellent.
Only 20 fathoms deep, and it's getting shallower by the minute.
We must be near land. Drop anchor before we hit rocks.
But Captain, do as I say. Yes, sir. Drop anchors! Drop anchors!
See any land?
Not yet.
We should get back below deck and pray daylight comes swiftly.
Please, eat something now for your own good.
Here, let me help.
Land!
Land ahead!
Oh, it must be the island you spoke about.
Cut the anchors! Loose the rudders! We've hit a sandbank!
Oh no! The ship's coming apart!
If the prisoners escape, we'll be to blame. So I say kill them all! Starting with that one!
No!
There'll be no one killed on my ship. Least of all, this man. All right, I want everyone who can swim to dive in the water and head for shore. Those who can't, grab anything you can find and start paddling.
No problem. Hop on.
Safe at last. Just as you said.
Did you hear that, kids? Jesus accepts all who seek him. So if you are seeking him, he will accept you. That is fantastic news. Hey boys and girls, we made it through the 27th chapter of Acts. I would encourage you to get a Bible and read it for yourself. Next time, we will go into chapter 28 and learn about what Paul did on this island of Malta. Exciting stuff. See you next time.